Revision. It's probably one of the most important aspects of the writing process, but it is also often one of the most difficult ones for writers to master. So this mini lesson will cover what revision is, why it's such a challenge, and how you can use a few quick tips to help you master the art of revising and editing your work. So what does it mean to revise? And I think this is where the real challenge to revision comes into play. We tend to think that revision is all about fixing something that is wrong. However, revision is really much more than just making corrections. Revision is about a writer making critical decisions about improvements and changes to a draft. Through the revision process, a writer not only finds what's wrong grammatically or mechanically, but a writer can also reevaluate and improve his or her overall draft, in addition to improving specifics. What makes revision especially challenging for beginning writers is this sense that you're not sure what to actually edit and what to revise. But if you just pay attention to these 4 key areas, you're going to be well on your way to mastering the art of thorough revision. The 4 areas that are important to revise are the structure of the overall piece of writing, the use of supporting details, the connections or fluidity between paragraphs, and the grammar or mechanics. So what does unified structure mean? And how can you revise your work to ensure that your structure is unified? Well, it's very, very simple. When you revise, review, read over, and consult with others about your writing, you should look for 3 key areas. Do you have a clear and specific thesis statement? Are your paragraphs related to that overall clear thesis? Remember, your thesis should convey your perspective on the topic and why it matters to the audience or why it matters to you. Finally, unified structure means a strong conclusion that flows from the paragraphs, which all relate to that specific clear thesis. The conclusion will also convey the overall point of the essay again and leave the audience with some kind of final statement. The next piece to revision is supporting details. It's very, very important that writers use concrete and specific details when developing their writing. One model or approach you can take to ensuring that you have enough details is the RENS model. So RENS is a very easy acronym to remember. RENS stands for reasons, examples, names, numbers, and senses. So if you develop your writing to include why something happened, how it happened, who was involved, where it happened, when it happened, and you draw from the 5 senses, you'll be well on your way to using enough supporting details. As you revise, use the RENS model as a checklist. Are you including these important details in each of your paragraphs? The next aspect of revision that you should look for is fluidity. This is actually a lot simpler than it sounds. Think about your paragraph, your entire essay as a river. A river flows from one point to the next, and there are places on a river that connect one point to the next. These places are bridges. So transitions between paragraphs in an essay work to bridge between your ideas. So you should be using transitions from one paragraph to the next. For instance, I began the sentence right there with the phrase "for instance." That lets my audience know I'm about to include an example. Use words like first, second, next, and most importantly, in contrast, to show your audience what the bridge is between one paragraph and the next. Finally, the last piece to revision is editing. This should be the last thing that you worry about and your last step in revising your work. Editing is when you look for mechanical and grammatical and format-based things to correct and develop in order to prepare your work for submission. So in terms of mechanics, it's important that you look for complete sentences. Make sure to review all of the feedback I've given you in terms of sentence structure and watch out for run-on sentences and fragments. Make sure that your sentences are clear. Read your work out loud. Read it from the end to the beginning. You'll catch more of those unclear sentence pieces that way. Double check a list of commonly confused words to make sure that you're using its correctly and to, and to in the right way. Finally, ensure that you're following proper format as instructed in the assignment sheet, and double check APA format against your textbook, a trusted source like the Purdue Online Writing Lab, or a citation builder like Microsoft Word or bibme.org. Please let me know what questions you have by contacting me via email, iChat, or during my listed phone office hours. Good luck!